Wait, stop scrolling. Take a breath, because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you look at the coins in your pocket. Most people ignore them, toss them aside, spend them without a second thought. But hidden among ordinary change are extraordinary treasures. Today, we're uncovering 3 coins that collectors quietly hunt for. Coins that carry secrets, history, and shocking potential. The 1970 Washington Quarter, the 1978 D Washington Quarter, and the 1998 P Washington Quarter. At first glance, they look ordinary, just another piece of American currency. But beneath their worn surfaces lies a story of minting mysteries, rare variations, and collector demand that most people never notice. What if one of these coins has already passed through your hands and you didn't even realize it? What if the next coin you find could be the one collectors are desperately searching for? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just see coins, you'll see hidden opportunities. And trust me, the final revelation will surprise you. Welcome to Coin Value Guide, where rare coins turn into real stories and sometimes real money. The story continues, and now we slow everything down, because this is the moment where an ordinary coin begins to reveal an extraordinary secret. The 1970 Washington $quarter coin may look like something you've seen 1,000 times before, something you've spent without thinking, something that passed through your hands without a second glance. But what if I told you that hidden within this simple piece of metal is a combination of history, precision, rarity, and opportunity that most people never even notice? This is where casual observers become collectors, and collectors become treasure hunters. Picture this. It's 1970 in the United States, the economy is shifting, the country is moving forward, and inside the US Mint, millions of quarters are being struck at incredible speed, machines pressing metal with exact force, creating coin after coin, each designed to be identical, each meant to serve a simple purpose, to be used, spent, circulated, forgotten. But here's where things get interesting. Because no matter how precise a system is, perfection is never guaranteed. And within these millions of coins, tiny variations begin to appear. Now hold that thought, because this is where your attention matters. The 1970 Washington Quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure, meaning it has a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of nickel alloy. This design was introduced to replace silver coinage, making coins more durable and cost-effective. The weight of this coin is approximately 5.67 grams, the diameter measures about 24.3 millimeters, and the thickness sits close to 1.75 millimeters. These numbers may sound technical, but for collectors, they are clues. They are the baseline for identifying something unusual. Because here's the truth. Every valuable coin begins by looking exactly like a normal one. Now imagine you're holding one of these quarters under a light. At first, nothing stands out. The portrait of George Washington looks familiar. The eagle on the reverse seems ordinary. But then you tilt the coin slightly, and suddenly something changes. The light reflects differently. The surface shines in a way that most coins don't. This effect is known as mint luster, and it's one of the first signs that a coin may be in exceptional condition. But condition alone is not enough. This is where the world of numismatics becomes truly fascinating. Because collectors don't just look at coins, they study them, they analyze every detail, every line, every edge, every tiny imperfection or lack of it. Let's talk about strike quality. When a coin is struck, metal is pressed into a die with immense force, transferring the design onto the coin, but not all strikes are equal. Some coins are struck with perfect pressure, resulting in sharp, crisp details. Others are slightly weaker, leaving parts of the design less defined. In the 1970 Washington Quarter, strong strikes are especially valuable. Look closely at Washington's hair. The sharper the strands appear, the better the strike. Then move to the reverse. Examine the eagle's feathers. Are they bold and clear or soft and faded? These details matter more than most people realize. Now here comes a small twist. Something that adds another layer of curiosity. Mint marks, or sometimes the absence of them, can play a role in desirability. Coins from different mints may have subtle differences in production quality, and collectors often track these variations carefully. Even the smallest difference can create demand. But we're not done yet, because now we enter the most important factor of all: grading. Grading is where a coin's true identity is revealed. It's where opinions are replaced with professional evaluation. Companies like PCG's, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, specialize in this process. They examine coins under magnification, analyzing surface quality, strike, luster, and overall preservation. Then they assign a grade on a scale that determines the coin's condition. Here's the part that most people miss. The difference between one grade and another can mean the difference between a coin worth almost nothing and a coin worth thousands. For example, a coin graded MS60 may show noticeable imperfections, while a coin graded MS65 will have far fewer marks, better luster, and stronger eye appeal. And when you move even higher into MS66 or MS67 territory, you are entering a level of rarity that becomes incredibly difficult to find. Now pause for a second and think, how many 1970 quarters do you think have survived in near-perfect condition? Out of millions produced, only a tiny fraction remain untouched by time, untouched by circulation, untouched by human hands. And that's where the real story begins. Because most 1970 Washington quarters lived hard lives, they were used in transactions, dropped on counters, carried in pockets, exposed to wear and tear. Over time, their surfaces became scratched, their edges worn, their luster faded. These coins lost the very qualities that collectors value most. But every once in a while, a coin escapes that fate. Maybe it was stored in a drawer. Maybe it was part of a forgotten collection. Maybe it was saved by someone who saw its potential. Whatever the reason, these preserved coins become the rare survivors, the hidden gems that collectors search for. Now let's add another layer of intrigue: contact marks. These are tiny scratches or dents caused when coins come into contact with each other during minting and transportation. Even before a coin enters circulation, it can acquire these marks, and the fewer marks a coin has, the higher its grade, the higher its desirability. So when you find a 1970 quarter that looks unusually clean, with minimal marks and strong luster, you may be looking at something special. But here's the challenge. Identifying a valuable coin requires patience, it requires attention to detail, and most importantly, it requires curiosity. Because the truth is, valuable coins don't stand out to everyone. They only reveal themselves to those who are willing to look closely. Now let's talk about authentication and selling. Because discovering a valuable coin is only the first step. If you believe you have a high-quality 1970 Washington quarter, the next move is to have it professionally graded. Sending your coin to PCGs or NGC ensures that it is authenticated and assigned an official grade. This process not only protects the coin, but also increases its market value. Once graded, your coin becomes much easier to sell. Collectors trust certified coins. They know exactly what they are buying, and that confidence often leads to higher prices. There are several places where you can sell such a coin. Online marketplaces like eBay allow you to reach a wide audience. Auction houses such as Heritage Auctions attract serious collectors willing to bid competitively. Local coin dealers can offer quick transactions, and coin shows provide opportunities to connect directly with buyers. But timing and presentation matter. A well-photographed, professionally graded coin listed at the right moment, can attract significant attention, while an uncertified coin may be overlooked or undervalued. Now here comes the moment of suspense, the moment everything builds toward. Imagine you find a 1970 Washington quarter in your collection. It looks clean, the luster is still visible, the details are sharp. You decide to have it graded, you send it in, wait patiently, and then the results come back. The coin receives a high mint state grade, confirming that it is among the best preserved examples known. At that moment, everything changes, because what was once just a quarter becomes a collectible asset. And now, the reveal you've been waiting for. A high-grade 1970 Washington quarter dollar coin, especially one certified by PCGs or NGC in exceptional condition, can reach a value of around $5,000. Yes, from a simple coin that most people ignore to a piece of history worth thousands. And here's the final thought to leave you with. How many coins have you spent without looking? How many opportunities have passed through your hands unnoticed? The next time you receive change, pause for a moment. Examine it. Because hidden within the ordinary could be something extraordinary. The story continues, and now we move deeper into the world of hidden value, where ordinary coins quietly carry extraordinary potential. The 1978 D Washington quarter dollar coin is one of those coins that almost everyone has seen. Almost everyone has touched, but very few have truly understood. Because at first glance, it looks completely normal. Just another quarter with a small D mint mark. Just another piece of everyday currency. Something you might spend without hesitation. Something you might ignore without a second thought. But this is exactly how valuable coins survive. They hide in plain sight. Now imagine the year 1978, inside the Denver Mint, massive machines are operating at full capacity, producing millions upon millions of quarters, each one designed to meet demand across the United States. Coins are struck rapidly, stacked, transported, and released into circulation. The goal is efficiency, not perfection. And that is where the first layer of mystery begins. Because when production is fast, small inconsistencies can occur, subtle differences that most people never notice, but collectors, they notice everything. The 1978 D Washington quarter follows the standard Clad composition, a copper core layered between nickel alloy surfaces. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.75 millimeters. These specifications match millions of other quarters, and that is what makes this story so fascinating. Because nothing about this coin screams rarity at first, nothing about it demands attention, yet within this ordinary framework lies the possibility of something exceptional. Now, let's slow down and focus on what truly matters. Condition. Condition is everything in coin collecting. It is the single factor that can transform a coin from common to rare, from overlooked to highly sought after. Most 1978 D quarters entered circulation immediately after being minted. They were used in daily transactions, carried in pockets, dropped into machines, exposed to friction, impact, and time, and as a result, the vast majority of these coins today show clear signs of wear, scratches across the surface, dullness replacing shine, edges softened by years of handling. But once in a while, a coin escapes this fate.
Maybe it was set aside, maybe it was stored in a roll, maybe it was kept in a collection without ever being used. Whatever the reason, these coins remain in near original condition, preserving the details, the luster, the brilliance that most coins lose. Forever. Now imagine holding one of these preserved coins, you tilt it under a light, and suddenly, it reflects a smooth, radiant shine. This is what collectors call mint luster, a cartwheel effect that moves across the surface as the coin shifts. It's not just shine, it's a sign of originality. A
sign that the coin has not been worn down by circulation. But luster alone is not enough. Now we move to strike quality, and this is where things become even more interesting. When a coin is struck, the metal must fully fill the design of the die. creating sharp, detailed features. But not every strike is perfect. Some coins are struck with slightly less pressure, resulting in weaker details. In the 1978 D Washington quarter, strong strikes are especially desirable. Look closely at Washington's hair. Are the lines sharp and defined, or do they appear soft and blended? Now turn the coin over and examine the eagle. Are the feathers bold and clear, or do they lack depth? These small details can make a huge difference in how collectors evaluate the coin. Now here comes another layer of curiosity: contact marks. Even before coins enter circulation, they can acquire tiny marks from contact with other coins during the minting and transportation process. These marks may be small, almost invisible at first glance, but under magnification, they become clear, and in the world of grading, they matter a lot. The fewer contact marks a coin has, the higher its potential grade, and the higher its potential value. This brings us to the most critical concept in modern numismatics: professional grading. Companies like PCG's, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, are trusted worldwide for evaluating coins. They examine each coin carefully, analyzing its surface, strike, luster, and overall preservation. Then they assign a grade based on a standardized scale. Now here's where the suspense builds, because the difference between grades is incredibly important. A coin graded MS60 may still show noticeable imperfections, while a coin graded MS65 will have significantly better eye appeal, fewer marks, and stronger luster. And when you move into even higher grades, like MS66 or MS67, you are entering a level of rarity that becomes extremely difficult to find. At this level, even the smallest flaw can prevent a coin from reaching the next grade. Now pause and think about this. Millions of 1978 D quarters were produced. But how many do you think survived in MS67 condition? How many remained untouched, flawless, nearly perfect? The answer is very few, and that is exactly why collectors are willing to pay so much for them. Because rarity is not always about how many coins were made. Sometimes it's about how many coins survived in exceptional condition. Now let's add another twist to the story: human behavior. Most people don't check their coins. They don't examine details. They don't think about grading. They see a quarter as just 25 cents. And because of that, valuable coins continue to circulate, continue to hide, continue to wait for someone curious enough to notice them. Imagine this scenario: you receive change from a store, you glance at the coins, and one of them looks slightly different maybe. It shines a bit more, maybe the details look sharper. You pause, you take a closer look, and in that moment, you step into the world of collectors. Because that simple act of curiosity can lead to discovery. Now let's talk about what happens after discovery. If you believe you have a high quality 1978 D Washington quarter, the next step is authentication and grading. Sending your coin to PCG's or NGC ensures that it is properly evaluated and preserved. Once graded, the coin is sealed in a protective holder, labeled with its grade and certification number. This not only protects the coin, but also builds trust with potential buyers. And when it comes to selling, trust is everything. Certified coins are far easier to sell than raw coins. Buyers are willing to pay more when they know the coin has been professionally graded. There are several platforms where such coins can be sold online. Marketplaces like eBay allow you to reach a global audience. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions attract serious collectors. Coin dealers can provide quick sales, and coin shows offer opportunities to negotiate directly with buyers. But here's something important: timing and presentation can influence the final price. High-quality images, clear descriptions, and proper certification can significantly increase buyer interest. while poorly presented coins may be overlooked. Now we reach the moment where everything comes together. Imagine you find a 1978 D quarter. It looks clean. The luster is strong. The details are sharp. You decide to take a chance. You send it for grading. Days pass, maybe weeks, and then the result comes back. The coin receives a high mint state grade, confirming that it is among the finest examples known. At that moment, the story changes, because what was once an ordinary coin becomes something rare, something desirable, something valuable. And now, the reveal. A high-grade 1978 D Washington $quarter coin, especially one graded at the upper mint state levels by PCGs or NGC, can reach a value of around $7,000. Yes, a coin that most people ignore. A coin that looks completely ordinary can be worth thousands, simply because of its condition, its preservation, its rarity within survival. And here's the final thought to carry with you. The next time you see a quarter with a small D mint mark, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's just another coin. Take a closer look, because hidden within the ordinary could be something extraordinary, something valuable, something waiting to be discovered. The journey now reaches its final chapter, and this is where everything you've learned begins to connect in a powerful way. Because the 1998 P. Washington $quarter coin represents something completely different, something modern, something that most people would never expect to hold real value. And that is exactly why this coin is so fascinating. Because sometimes the greatest opportunities are hidden in the coins people ignore the most. Now picture the late 1990s in the United States. Technology is advancing. Minting techniques are improving. Quality control is stronger than ever. And, inside the Philadelphia Mint, millions of quarters are being produced with incredible precision. Each coin is designed to be nearly identical, nearly flawless, nearly perfect. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because when everything is close to perfect, only the absolute best stand out. The 1998 P. Washington quarter carries no visible mint mark, which often confuses beginners. But experienced collectors know that coins from Philadelphia during this period were not marked with a P. This detail alone makes identification slightly more challenging, requiring closer observation and knowledge, and this is where casual observers fall behind while collectors move ahead. At its core, this coin shares the same physical specifications as other Washington quarters. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.75 millimeters. The composition is clad, with a copper core layered between nickel alloy surfaces. Everything about it appears standard, predictable, ordinary, and yet, hidden within millions of these coins is a level of rarity that most people never imagine. Now let's slow down and focus on the most important concept for this coin: perfection. Unlike older coins, where wear and circulation define rarity, modern coins like the 1998 P are all about achieving the highest possible grade. Because even though millions were produced, only a tiny fraction exist in near-perfect condition. And that is what collectors are searching for. Not just a coin, but the best version of that coin that exists. Imagine holding a 1998 P quarter in your hand. At first, it looks like any other coin. But then you tilt it under a light, and something catches your eye. The surface reflects a bright, almost mirror-like shine. The luster is strong, smooth, uninterrupted. This is the first sign that you might be looking at something special. Now look closer, examine Washington's portrait. The details are sharp, The lines are crisp, nothing appears worn or faded. Turn the coin over, and the eagle. Design stands out with clarity. Every feather, every edge, every detail is intact. This is what collectors call a high-grade coin. And in the world of modern numismatics, high-grade coins are where the real value exists. But here's where the suspense builds, because achieving a top grade is incredibly difficult. Even coins that were never circulated can have tiny imperfections, small contact marks from the minting process, slight variations in strike quality, microscopic scratches that are invisible to the naked eye but clear under magnification. These tiny flaws can prevent a coin from reaching the highest grades, and that is why coins graded at the top levels are so rare. Now, we enter the world of professional grading, where everything is measured, analyzed, and certified. Companies like PCG's, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, play a crucial role in determining a coin's value. They examine each coin under controlled conditions, using magnification and expert knowledge to evaluate surface quality, strike, luster, and overall preservation. Then, they assign a grade on a scale that defines the coin's condition. Here's the part that most people don't realize: the difference between a coin graded MS65 and one graded MS68 can be enormous. Even though both coins may look similar to the untrained eye, at higher levels, perfection becomes extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay significant premiums for coins that reach those. Now think about this. Millions of 1998 P quarters were produced, but how many do you think have been graded at MS67 or higher? How many have survived without a single noticeable flaw, without a single mark that would lower their grade? The answer is incredibly small, and that scarcity is what drives value. But the story doesn't end with grading, because now we introduce another layer: collector demand. Modern coins often gain attention when collectors begin building complete sets, searching for the highest graded example of each year and mint. And when a coin like the 1998 P becomes difficult to find in top condition, demand increases, competition grows, and prices begin to rise. Now imagine this scenario. A collector is building a perfect set of Washington quarters. They already have high-grade examples from other years, but when they reach 1998 P, they realize how difficult it is to find a flawless coin. They search auctions, dealers, online listings, but the supply is limited, and when a top-grade coin finally appears, multiple collectors compete for it, pushing the price higher and higher. And that is how an ordinary coin becomes extraordinary. Now let's talk about something practical: how to identify and protect such a coin. If you believe you have a high-quality 1998 P quarter, the first step is to handle it carefully. Avoid touching the surface directly, as oils from your skin can affect its condition. Store it in a protective holder and examine it under proper lighting. Look for luster, sharp details, and minimal marks. If the coin appears exceptional, consider sending it to PCG's or NGC for professional grading. Once graded, the coin becomes certified, protected, and much more attractive to buyers, because in the world of collecting, trust and verification are essential. Now let's talk about selling, because discovering value is only part of the journey. High-grade modern coins often perform well in competitive markets. Online platforms like eBay allow you to reach a wide audience, while major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers attract serious collectors willing to bid aggressively for top-quality coins. Coin dealers and shows also provide opportunities for direct sales, but certified coins always have the advantage. Presentation matters: clear images, proper descriptions, and certification details can significantly increase interest, while uncertified coins may struggle to attract serious buyers. Now we reach the final moment, the moment where everything comes together. Imagine you find a 1998 P quarter. It looks flawless. The luster is bright. The details are sharp. You decide to take a chance. You send it for grading. Time passes. Anticipation builds. And then the result arrives. The coin receives an exceptionally high grade, placing it among the finest known examples. At that moment, everything changes. Because what was once just another quarter becomes a rare collectible, a piece of modern numismatic excellence, something that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. And now, the final reveal. A top-grade 1998 P. Washington quarter dollar coin, especially one certified at the highest mint state levels by PCGs or NGC, can reach a value of around $9,000. Yes, a modern coin, something you might still find in circulation, can be worth thousands, simply because it represents the best of the best, the rarest level of perfection among millions. And here's the final thought to leave you with. The next time you receive change, don't ignore the newer coins. Don't assume that only old coins have value, because sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones hiding in the present, waiting quietly, unnoticed, for someone curious enough to discover them.